G'day ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? ScottyD here from the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network and welcome into the next installment in the How to Play Warhammer 40,000 10th edition. Alrighty ladies and gentlemen, now this is the second video in our How to Play Warhammer 40,000 10th edition series, where we'll be continuing to go through the core mechanics of the game. We've already covered the different ways that you can play the game, as well as talking about how to build army lists in the new edition. Now today's video is a bit of a different one in this series, because the previous video for the 9th edition version of this series has got a bit of a difference, because we discussed the difference between points and power level. However, something's changed in 10th edition. Power level no longer exists. So not only has power level been removed, but points have also dramatically changed. Now the points values have actually changed in such a way that it's actually very similar to how points values are handled in Age of Sigmar. Every unit has now got a minimum number of models that cost a certain number of points to take for that unit. Now this is the first big change, because unit sizes are now fixed, which means that units no longer have a points value per model. Rather, they actually have a points value for the number of models that you take within the unit. Now, what does this mean if you don't actually have the right number of models to meet a specific size of the unit, for example? So say you have 8 Sternguard veterans, what do? You can take less models that will cost the minimum points for value for that unit, or you can pay the highest points value for that unit or the next highest and take the models that you have. So for that 8 Sternguard, for example, you can either run a unit of 5 Sternguard for their minimum cost, for the cost of 5, or you can run 8 Sternguard for the points cost of 10 Sternguard. Now some units won't only just have a minimum and a maximum, they may have several different points values as well in there, or they might just have a minimum and a maximum. Now this means that when it comes to building an army list, you might end up being close to up to 50 points left over in building your army list when creating it to maybe spend on enhancements or stuff after you've taken units in your army. Now the other significant change to points has actually been taken from power level and what power level used to be, or what rather it left out. The points cost for a unit actually now includes the cost of all of its war gear options that you can include on them, meaning that you don't necessarily need to worry about what war gear items you've assembled them with if you're a newer player, or how much those war gear items might cost to include them in your units. So there are a few pros with this change for 10th edition. This means that points are actually a relatively quick method for building army lists now, as you only need to account for the number of models that you're going to be taking in that unit, and even then it's mostly done. The only additional cost you actually have to worry about is the enhancements. Now the enhancements at the moment are the 10th edition version of relics and warlord traits. However, the cons are that most units within the game will now only be able to either be taken at their minimum size or their maximum size. You're actually forced into taking either a 5-man or a 10-man, rather than being able to choose the specific mount that you are wanting to play with. If you don't have enough models to hit the maximum size of a unit, you actually end up still paying for the maximum size to run that unit at the maximum size, even though you don't have the models for it. And with the way that points are being handled now, it can be difficult to get to as close as possible to the points limit that you're looking to play, depending on what you are taking in your army list and the enhancements you are choosing to run as well. So to finish off, what has really happened with power level being removed from 10th edition, and they've changed the points in such a way that they function the exact same way that power level did in 9th edition. So does this actually mean we're not really saying goodbye to power level at all? It's just that we're saying goodbye to the way that we've known points and how they function for a long time, and it's pretty much points have become power level now, I guess? So on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us in this video. I hope you did enjoy kind of this brief explanation of what the changes are to the points values and what happened to power level in 10th edition Warhammer 40,000. Now, we're going to keep on bringing out more videos more consistently here on the channel as well for this series. And I'm excited to delve into more of the nitty-gritty stuff for 10th edition and share my perspective on things and try and explain it as best as I can for you. Now, if you do enjoy the content here at the ATWN on YouTube, feel free to leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below if you agree with my perspective on the changes to points. And if you do enjoy the content and want to stay up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on so you're able to receive the notifications when we are releasing more content here on the ATWN, whether it's more installments in this series, or maybe it's more from Sprue to Tabletop videos, or it's more 10th edition tournament videos as well from the tournament coverage we are doing across the Australian southeastern seaboard. If you do want to ever catch us live, currently we do live stream on Twitch on Monday and Friday nights, but that does change from time to time depending on tournament coverage and other factors as well. So you're going to be wanting to make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram as well, so you're able to see the weekly schedules of what's happening on the network. And I also want to give a massive shout out to those supporting us on both Twitch and on Ko-Fi as well. Your support financially really does mean that we're able to continue expanding what we're doing, as well as the tournaments that are having us at their events as well. And if you do want to support us, every little bit does help, but there's absolutely no pressure to do so. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next video.